Since producing our video where we showed how we mounted our cargo boxes on top of our 4Runner, we've been flooded with questions about the pins that we show holding our traction boards down. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we made them. They're real simple, made out of stuff you can buy at any big box store or hardware store, and they can be made to fit just about any kind of traction mat. Now the boards that we're mounting are a pair of Maxsa traction mats. These pins will also work for Maxtrax, treads, just about anything that has a 1/2-inch hole. And we're mounting them on our aftermarket roof rack. Now this is a Southern style off-road rack. This is a crossbar from that. And you see it's that type of channel. But I would imagine that with a little bit of ingenuity, you can make these fit onto just about any kind of crossbar, even a stock bar. Materials we used: 1/2-inch aluminum round bar, a stainless steel T-nut that fits down into the channel on our crossbar, a stainless steel fender washer. It measures 1 inch in diameter, a 1/4 inch hole. This is a stainless steel set screw. Some cable that we put a leash onto our hitch pins with so we don't lose them. And these are little things that crimp the cable together. And this is an optional piece of aluminum bar stock. It measures 1 inch wide by 1/8 of an inch thick. We'll show you why that may be necessary a little later. And this is how it all goes together. We already have one of those T-nuts slid into the channel from the end. And into that, we take our stainless steel set screw, screw that in there. To lock it in place, just a simple Allen wrench, tighten it down. And then our stainless steel washer, then the rod that we made. That goes down on. You can see this is really simple. That's why this video is going to be so short. That goes on, and you can tighten that down as much as you want to. Then we put on our lanyard, our pin, and goes right in the hole. Now the first thing to make these is to determine how long that pin needs to be. So just take your boards, put them on your rack, and then take that stock, put it down through the holes, and that will determine how long it needs to be. Now we added like 3/4 of an inch onto that. I'll show you with this one that we already made. That way it's a little bit easier to set them on when they're all full of mud and everything. And we also, to determine where that pin goes, we also squeeze the boards a little bit to put a little bit of tension on them. That way you know they're not going to flop around in the wind on top of your vehicle. Now to make the cutting and drilling a little bit easier on us, I made a simple jig out of some 2x4s I nailed together, drilled a 1/2-inch hole, and then I took a saw and made a cut from the edge into the hole. That way we can put a clamp on here and tighten it down, and that'll hold that rod in there really nice and tight. So we have our rod through that hole in our jig, and that line where we want to cut is lined up right with the edge of that. And we're going to use the edge of the wood to guide our hacksaw to make a relatively straight cut. Next, we have to drill a hole down through the center of this dowel. To do that, we first start with a punch and make a mark. Try to get it as centered as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect though. So just kind of eyeball it. Now for a 1/4 inch tap, we need to drill it out to 13/64, about 1.5 inches deep. That'll give us plenty of room for that stud to screw in there. And the hole for the hitch pin. For it, a 3/64 inch bit. Now we've got that larger drill bit back in our drill press, and we're going to break over the edges on those holes we just drilled. That way it'll make it nice and smooth, and you'll be able to get that pin in a little bit easier. Then we round over the top. So now comes the fun part, cutting the threads in that hole at the ends. This is just a standard 1/4 tap in my holder. We're going to start out by putting a little bit of oil in there. And then when you start, just make sure this is nice and straight up and down. Just go easy at first. If it binds up at all, just back it off a little bit, clean the shavings out of the threads. It's nice working with aluminum. And I think we're getting close to the bottom. We don't want to bottom it out too hard. And then we'll blow it out with the air compressor. Now we're very fortunate that our traction boards have a spacing between the mounting holes of 9 3/4 inch. That works out perfect for the channels in our roof rack bars. Now boards like the Maxtrax, treads, and some of the others, their spacing is 10.5 inches wide here. And that doesn't work out real well with our particular roof rack. But we came up with a solution for people that have those traction boards. And that is, remember that piece of flat stock that we talked about at the very beginning of the video? That's where this comes into play. You can make a little bracket that will offset that off of the crossbar just enough to make it work. What it is it's just that 1 inch wide by 1/8 inch thick aluminum stock. We drilled a 1/4 inch hole here, 1/4 inch hole here. That equals the offset that we need. Took a stainless steel 1/4 inch bolt, put it into the end of our pin, and then we are going to bolt it onto our roof rack with the same kind of stud, set screw, sit in the channel, stainless steel lock washer, and a stainless steel nut, and that will give us the correct distance for our mounting points. For the lanyard that holds our pin so it doesn't get lost, it's just a steel cable, these little fittings you can get with it. You just simply stick cable through, make a loop, put it back in, make sure it fits down over, yep, and then just smash the heck out of that. There you go. Simple as that. I told you it was going to be a short video. Now, if you ever see something in our videos that you have a question on or you want to see more of, just let us know. Drop us a line on YouTube or on Facebook, Instagram, email, however you can get a hold of us.
If this is your first time watching one of our videos and you'd like to see more, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the bell if you want to be notified.
We're very lucky that our Maxsa pads, and they can be made to fit just about any kind of traction bar. Traction bar? Put it in the vise and just drill it with a handsaw. But, drill it with a saw? I don't think so. Now you don't have to have a drill press to drill these holes, but it helps.